Putin signs law letting ex-presidents become senators for life.
Here's a summary of the article.
Moscow, President Vladimir Putin signed legislation on Tuesday that allows former presidents to become lawmakers for life in Russia's upper house of parliament once they leave the Kremlin, a government website showed. The legislation follows sweeping changes to the Russian political system initiated by Putin this year that, among other things, allow him to run for 2 more 6-year terms in the Kremlin if he chooses. The reforms are being closely parsed for clues as to what Putin may do at the end of his current presidential term, his second consecutive and fourth overall. Advertisement. Tuesday's legislation would allow presidents to name up to 30 senators to the Federation Council, Russia's upper house, and also to become a senator themselves once they have left office. Other legislation that is yet to be signed into law, but has already been backed by the lower house of parliament, would grant ex-presidents immunity from prosecution for any offences committed in their lifetimes, not merely while in office.
This post received a score of 29,000, with an upvote ratio of 96%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
With no one particular in mind.
So basically just himself and his pawn Medvedev.
Dmitry Medvedev.
Greater than Dmitry Medvedev.
Sounds like you're trying to get your dirt bike started.
Clippy.
Isn't this the more important change?
Yeah, it's looking like even fraudulent elections might soon end at this rate.
Why have a fraudulent election, when we can get rid of them altogether?
More or less. What Redditors don't understand when they see this is it's not just protecting Putin but putting authoritarianism into Russian law slowly.
That's okay, a lot of people seem to think that legal equals acceptable.
Until the law inconveniences them even the slightest.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens in the future when Putin is dead but the laws he sets in today are not and a Russian Trump rises into power. This is the long-term risk he puts Russia under when he secures a comfortable life for himself for the rest of his short life.
I like the way Putin always makes these selfless changes.
In this case, he's truly being selfless. He has no intention of ever becoming an ex-president.
He might. Gossips are he is sick and his family is pressuring him to retire. Hence the law so he will still have some power, immunity and money for life.
Pretty sure he is set with money for life. Rumor is when he came into power, he took 50% of the oligarchs' money. If they refused, he put them on trial, in a cage, to set an example.
Putin is estimated to be worth more than Hitler at the peak of his wealth during WW2, adjusted for inflation. Hitler is both the richest man of the 20th and 21st century. We have a rough gauge of Hitler's wealth, however the waters are muddied because what was the States was Hitler's and what was Hitler's was the States. It took the collapse of the Nazi Empire for us to get a rough estimate of Hitler's worth.
Where did Hitler's wealth go after the war? Seized by the state, I assume?
Switzerland in the background, trying to look innocent.
That was an interesting read.
By 2030, will there be any ex-presidents left? Just one.
Supreme Senator for life Putin.
We should give him emergency powers. Do it.
But the real question is, will Putin ever become an ex-president?
Yes. He also made a change that limits a president's legislation periods to a maximum of 2, I believe. Note that he in the same instance changed the law in a way that his previous legislation periods don't count to this maximum. So he currently has 2 left before he becomes senator for life, which also grants him immunity before the law, by the way.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.